Hello to everyone, my name is Mikhail Sarafanov, and today I'm going to present the work Evolutionary Automated Machine Learning for Multi-Scale Decomposition and Forecasting of Sensor Time Series. First of all, I would like to say a few words about the actuality of research problem. We can collect data from various sources, and if we are talking about sensors data, the large amount of sensor data are collected in a time series form. So if we would like to use predictive analytics, in the vast majority of cases, we have to use time series forecasting models. Another point of this presentation, because before we can start the main part of this speech, is the term multi-scale time series. So multi-scale time series is a series that decomposes into several functionally related components, each describing a specific time scale. Example of such time series you can see on the left part of the slide. So we can see that the main time series can be decomposed into several sinusoids with different parameters, and it's also important to notice that these components can be also non-stationary. So the main goal of this research work is to develop an efficient algorithm for identifying time series forecasting model based on evolutionary computing and AutoML. And a few words about the existing solutions. If we have enough time and money, we can hire a skillful expert and give him or her several months or maybe weeks to prepare a time series forecasting model based on ARMA, ARIMA, ARMA, and other variations. This expert also can use frequency analysis, additive models, and other classical models. But it's quite time consuming, and which is more important, sometimes we cannot afford this expert to be in our company or in our research group or something like this. So we can use another tool is automated model identification libraries, and some of them are listed on the right part of the slide. Unfortunately, quite often these solutions obtained from automated model identification tools cannot outperform the solutions from experts. So let's get down to proposed approach. So we can, to effectively model time series, we should use not only the model but also different algorithms and procedures for data preprocessing, for model selection and tuning, for validation, and all of this sequence of actions we would like to apply on our time series. During this presentation, we can call them pipeline. So pipeline consists of nodes, and nodes consists of operations. So the key operation for the pipeline for time series modeling is large transformation. We have to do this large transformation into the table because quite a lot of machine learning models works with tables, not univariate time series or arrays. So we can generate a table. There we can use as predictors the previous values of our time series. And the main hyperparameter for this operation will be window size. So we can also vary it to obtain appropriate forecasting error. And this animation shows how this algorithm works, how can we collect data into a large table and trying to fit our model. And we can also use several steps to make a prediction in the future for the desired forecast horizon. And on this slide, you can see different examples of pipelines which can be constructed by expert or by automated machine learning algorithm. So we can also use large transformation with machine learning models in the same pipeline with classical models. And as it can be seen from the predicted these actual values plot, the forecast error is quite low. So how can we construct these pipelines automatically? We can use for them evolutionary algorithm. On this slide, you can see some examples of crossover and mutation for the graph structure. So the individual here is a pipeline. We can change the hyperparameters in the nodes during the mutation. We can change operation in the node. We also can add nodes or delete some nodes. And during crossover, we can take one subgraph from the big graph, big pipeline, and change it with another subgraph from another pipeline. So then the process of searching for the optimal pipeline structure is finished. We can try to fine-tune the nodes, so we can change the hyperparameters in the nodes, because it's important part of machine learning model identification to tune them. So for that, we can use simultaneous tuning. Then we use all pipeline like black box with all hyperparameters from all nodes and models. So which modification we have applied for effectively multi-scale time series forecasting? We apply nested cross-validation algorithm to calculate the fitness during the evolutionary process, and to extend the validation part without retraining the model, we apply ensemble time series forecasting. And the ensemble time series forecasting are shown on the left part of the slide in the animation. Another modification for multi-scale time series modeling is decomposition. We implement it as another operation in the pipeline. So decompose operation takes prediction from model A and take a difference between source target and A model predictions. So for now, it is possible for model B to model not the source target, but the errors of model A. To effectively use this modification in our pipelines, we have created a new mutation operator for during evolutionary process. So here is experiment setup. We have used a proposed approach, Prophet baseline and AutoTS library as competitors. We also use TAP and SMART datasets with various time series. For validation, we have considered the following forecast horizons from 10 to 100. We calculate metrics MAPE and SMAPE for validation part. And we also perform additional experiments when we compare basic AutoML algorithm with AutoML algorithm with proposed boosting mutation. So experiment results. On this slide, you can see the plot with different libraries predictions and the validation part of time series to compare predicted these actual values. And we also calculate the metric. So on this slide we can see the SMAP error for different libraries and for different datasets, and as can be seen from the table, proposed approach outperformed the competitors in average. So another part of the results is related to comparison between basic AutoML and AutoML algorithm with proposed boosting mutation with adding a decompose operation to the pipeline. So, according to the results of experiments, the error was reduced by 78% of cases when the boosting mutation was used. Example of time series forecasts with decomposition and without decomposition operation in the same pipeline are shown on the slide. So we also can check the slide with generation this metric, where we can see then the error is reducing. We can obtain more complicated structures of the pipelines. And conclusion. So we also produce some additional experiments with multi-criteria optimization, where we use different criteria to obtain Pareto frontier. And the example of this Pareto frontier for one of the experiments is shown on this plot on the right part of the slide. So the proposed modification of this evolutionary algorithm for predicting multi-scale time series in the vast majority of cases led to a reduction in error. According to our statistical testing showed we have obtained significantly different results between libraries, and comparison with competing algorithms confirmed that potential of the proposed approach is quite high. On this slide you can see some contact information about me and our research group, and also our open source AutoML tool we have presented during this presentation. So if you have any questions, you can ask me or my colleagues, or just write me to email. And thank you for attention.